Hey folks, thanks for being here. This is Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. Larry's with us. I just went over a whole bunch of questions, so I've got a list of things that I've just listened to, and his answers were interesting, so he's going to take it away, and then I've got a list of things that we will bring forth that he hasn't covered before we ask your questions. All right, Larry.
Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and start getting the questions in, because you have a lot. There'll be a lot. And the main thing that's going on today is just the country coming unglued. Now, you told me of a poll that said 40% of the black community plan to vote for Trump. Now, that's a good sign, because that's saying that this Black Lives Matter and this, whatever the other group's called.
Antifa?
Yes. And that's good, because that's showing that it's not in the black community the way they want all of us to believe, the way the media wants us to believe.
Oh, speaking of BLM and Antifa, I'm in Colorado Springs right now, and my sister's niece lives in a neighborhood where a policeman was let off the hook as innocent for something, and they had it was 100 people, Black Lives Matter, protest at his house, screaming and everything, walking up and down the street with AR-15s. And some of the neighbors came out and were holding up their own guns, and a lot of the Black Lives Matters folks put their hands up and backed away. So there was no violence, nobody got hurt, but it was a confrontation between the locals and the BLM, 100 of them coming in to protest this policeman.
Well, that's going to be happening all over. That's why I told you what I did yesterday. You better arm up, because they will go. They will come to your houses.
And that's just a small street neighborhood on the north side of Colorado Springs. But it just so happens there's a policeman living in the neighborhood that they found out about and decided to do a big thing about it. And fortunately, some of the neighbors found out about it ahead of time, but somebody trying to get home from work was not allowed to come in. So.
Well, the thing that everybody's got to understand is right now, everything is significant. Everything is significant. And you've got to watch everything. I just saw on TV where the White House, Trump not considering national lockdown. And I think what that's about, as far as I know, that's about with this COVID-19, people are starting to panic. It's not going to do any good. He's not going to do that. That will not help anything. Unfortunately, we have been in or under the spell of this deadly virus, and everybody's got to be careful. It's the new world we live in. I'm not saying it's a good one, but it's the new one.
And I was listening to a historical treatise today on the Spanish flu, and it was amazing to hear them describing what was going on then and what's happening now. The beginnings of it is so similar.
Well, yeah. All outbreaks of this type are similar. And it's just going to take time for the scientists to develop a vaccine, as they have done in the past, that will stop it. But we've got to be careful until then. Now, you had some other questions, Ray. What were they?
I was asking. I was telling you that DeVos, the head of the education department, I understand she's come out with a pamphlet that says I'm an orphan. Both of my parents died of COVID. And if I'm recommending that any of you with children or grandchildren to please check with your schools and school district about this being sent home, because it's a way for them to increase fear among the children and use the children to get to the parents to ramp up the fear. This is something that we need to protect the kids from.
Well, I would do this first. I would want to see that pamphlet. Mary Ellen, we've seen too many times things that were supposed to be that ended up not being.
Yeah.
So I would want to see the pamphlet before I tried to activate parents. We've got to have a copy of it. Now, it should be readily available on the internet, I would surmise, if he's trying to distribute it around to the schools. But it makes no sense to do what he said. Now, here's a cute one. Biden is in Ohio, and he's holding a virtual event. Like Trump has those rallies.
Right.
Well, he's holding a virtual rally because nobody's coming to his speaking things. Nobody. So there'll probably be 100 people, if that many, that hook into this thing. But I doubt it.
I saw one where it was on Zoom, which is one of the technological ways of doing an online event. And there was a speech delay. You know how that is, delay. Yeah. So there was a speech delay. And so Biden was trying to answer, watching the different people all talking at once, all being confused about what the other was saying. And that way, it was a really fiasco.
Yeah.
It was a fiasco.
Yep. What else did you have?
I was asking about what happened in Beirut today. I had heard that Israel has threatened Hezbollah, and so anyhow, I saw the mushroom-shaped cloud. I saw the explosion, portrayed many times. So,
well, high explosives will create a mushroom cloud, but that is not necessarily a nuclear bomb. Now, when you see a mushroom cloud 10,000 feet up in the air, now you're looking at what would happen with a nuclear hydrogen bomb. But it is very possible. It almost happens every time when you got large munitions going off. There will be a mushroom cloud.
And then let's see. And then I asked you about why aren't some of the governors being arrested? Newsom, the one in Kentucky and Virginia, because of voter fraud and election fraud in 2018. And your answer was they have to be able to prove the connection between the governor and what happened.
Right. They would have to have proof that they were actively involved, and I don't think they're going to be able to find that.
Okay. Gloria says the latest update, Al Hadath News says the Beirut explosion was a warehouse for Iranian missiles for Hezbollah, which I have heard as well from other sources.
Well, that would explain it.
That would explain the mushroom cloud being big munitions.
Right, certainly. Plus the thing they used to blow it up, if it was from Israel, they would use a special bomb that would make all of those munitions in that place go off. And that would certainly create a mushroom cloud.
Okay. Thank you. Somebody's concerned about McSally and Arizona being weak and losing in Arizona, and somebody's also concerned about losing a Republican in Maine. And let's see, somebody else said something. Just Oh, but Sally's not popular, and they're afraid she's going to lose, and what will happen then? Because I guess she's the one on the Republican ticket. But haven't you said in the past that better to keep a Republican in, even if they're a rhino, than to switch to a Democrat?
That's right. We don't gain anything. Now, maybe a Republican hadn't been a good representative or senator or whatever. Maybe they haven't been. But if Trump gets control of the House and the Senate, even the bad guys will have to come along. So by all means, don't put a Democrat in.
Okay, have you heard about all the doctors, including State Senator Jensen, being censored because they contradict HHS and the World Health Organization scientists?
Have not heard that.
Now, I think he may also be referring to the doctors in the white coats that were on the Capitol steps talking about hydroxychloroquine as a viable treatment.
All right. I haven't heard that, but I can tell you they can't silence any doctor. I mean, there's nothing they can do to silence a doctor.
Well, one doctor that appeared in that group at the Capitol has been fired from the medical practice that she was with.
Well, I'm not saying they were right or wrong. I'm just telling you, they can't, and there's no way they could censor doctors coming out and giving their 2 cents worth about this virus.
Well, I've certainly seen, where their information or the recording was posted on YouTube and Facebook and been taken down. I've seen that happen multiple times. They keep putting it back up, but.
Right. Well, that's Facebook. That's not the government silencing them. So.
No, I know. People are just saying that they are being silenced. They're being censored in the media.
Yeah, well, just get ready. You won't believe the censoring going on in about a month.
Yeah. Now, there's a New York Times article about not having any debates. Do you think the Democrats are going to try and back out? You said yesterday.
They're going to try. They're going to try. They're going to use this COVID-19 problem as the reason. But I don't think you'll see Trump and them let that go.
Okay.
There will be 2 debates. Should be 3, but there'll be 2.
Okay. Army Patriot asks, what if Trump wins the election, but the Democrats steal the seats in the Senate and to control both houses of Congress?
Now say that again.
What if Trump wins the election, but the Democrats steal the seats in the Senate so they control both houses?
We will have a government that will go nowhere. Nowhere. They will stop everything President Trump is doing, trying to do for the country. They'll stop it. They'll shut it all down. That will be a horrible, horrible outcome.
And then I also told you that the Senate had a bill for money to help folks right now, and Pelosi just tucked it in her desk and won't bring it to the floor.
That's typical. Now, imagine this. She sticks it in the door, will not even take it to the floor. But in an hour or 2 or by this evening, it'll be Trump's fault.
Of course. Of course. I heard somebody quoting Lincoln's Gettysburg Address talking about that these soldiers should not have died in vain and that we will have a new birth of freedom. I think it's time to resurrect that speech again and be paying attention to it,
That's right. I agree. Now listen, we need to make some program changes. We will not be here tomorrow.
Right.
And since I've got to come on with Jason, we're going to try to do a modified program. So if anybody's got any questions, get them in now, or we're going to take a break. And by the way, Mary Ellen's got stuff she's got to do dealing with their father's death. So if anybody has any questions, fire them in. And if not, we will see you Thursday.
And don't forget, folks, Larry's got his meds staggered as to when they expire and need renewal. And so I want to say a big, big, big thank you to everybody who pitched in to help him get his meds yesterday. Thank you so very much. We will not be here tomorrow. He will need to refill something else on Thursday. And so his PayPal account is here on the screen, nicholslive@aol.com. And I'll put my phone number up when Larry goes off before we sign out. 2 questions. What do you think about Sally? No, there's 3. Sally Yates testifying tomorrow.
About who?
Sally Yates.
I still don't understand what you're saying.
Sally Yates.
Sally Yates.
She's supposed to testify. Was she in DOJ or FBI?
She ended up, I think, over to the DOJ. But I'll say this: you're just going to see another hearing where someone's going to lie like a dog. She will lie like a dog because she was she was one of the people in on the bugging of Trump's campaign illegally.
Sherry heard that Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested for info leverage on congressmen up for re-election. Any thoughts?
I don't think so. She may try it, but that's not why she was arrested.
James, the answer to your question is no. James is suggesting some low-cost meds. Larry has to work with his doctor, and they do research on, the best way to get it as cheaply as possible. All right. Is Trump going to issue an executive order preventing mail-in ballots?
No. Now, that's not yet. He may be forced to, but as of now, he is not planning on doing that at all.
Paul says other countries are giving out more than $1,200 to help their people. Why is that amount so low? Well, I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi. There's the Senate trying to approve something.
Listen, when you think of passing out that money, remember, that's our money. And our kids' money and our grandkids' money. Every nickel that we pay out, that's coming from us. Now, I want to be generous and I want to take care of those people that are out of work, for no reason of their own. However, there are a lot of people that are out of work. And I think what Trump and McConnell and the Republicans are trying to do, they have found that there is a large contingent of people that getting 600 plus their unemployment is a disincentive to ever go to work.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, why should I go to work? I can get more staying home.
Absolutely. We all ought to do that. What else you got?
Are you aware of the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact?
No. I am not.
Gloria said she's been begging for it to be reversed. I don't know. I haven't heard of that either. And do you realize that Facebook's going to shadow ban Trump supporters? What's been happening on Facebook, Larry, is Facebook is not allowed to block Trump's and censor block Trump's posts. But those of us that follow him are not allowed to repost and share what he has said. So
Right.
anybody who doesn't see it directly from Trump cannot see it because the rest of us can't pass it on.
Right.
And
Well, just remember, in about a month, you're going to see censoring like you can't imagine.
I mean, I'm finding that people are trying to share things even to Messenger, which is a private. I mean, it's still part of Facebook, but it's something you're posting directly to somebody, not like a text message through Facebook, and even that's being blocked already. Yeah, and Pam is suggesting that these stimulus checks are being skimmed off by corrupt politicians. They're taking a cut.
You know, I don't know about that. I don't think that would be happening under Trump. Trump's guys are not going to let that happen. I promise.
But when you think about what the total package amount has been and how little has gone of that's designated for the people, little people, the big question is, where did the bulk of the money go?
Well, the bulk of the money, if y'all will recall, the bulk of the money went to help businesses get back open because they had lost so much business and they were so far in the hole that they could never recover. Now, as far as the businesses are concerned and all the money that they got, which is the bulk of it, any business that took that money to help get them back started, they got to pay it back. They've got to pay it back over time. The individuals that get the 600, you don't have to pay back.
Yeah, I understand that the loan converts to a grant, not paid back, as long as you kept your employees on the payroll.
Right.
So
that is true.
And I mean, we have one of our supporters, Larry, that was trying to get the money for his business. He was an independent contractor, and he was trying to get some of the funds. Could not. They would not even take his application. It's just the big guys made it work. The little guys like him were just overlooked and dismissed.
That's typical with our government today. I don't like it, but it's typical.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to change.
Okay, the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact is a pact of 15 Democrat states to give it's for the when they after the vote, when they do the electoral college, they're giving the electoral college 196 electoral college votes of the 270 needed to the popular vote rather than to the electors.
Yeah, well, that won't matter. I assure you, Trump has got that calculated, or his people do.
Okay.
That's wishful thinking on the part of those Democrats. Wishful thinking.
I'm sorry, Paul. I didn't see your question about Larry. Larry's PayPal is nicholslive@aol.com. You should see it here across the screen. It's also in the description box down below. William Carr is from Little Rock, a disabled vet, and his doctor is a vet, and he got hydroxychloroquine yesterday, so he's pretty excited.
Oh, great. Proud for him. All right, gang. Let's call it off so we can regroup Thursday. I'll be on with Jason in about 30 minutes.
Okay. Thanks, Larry. I'll close it out.
All right, gang.
And we'll listen to you on Jason. I'll tell him how to find it.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, there are 3 ways to get hold of Jason's show. You can go on YouTube at the top of the hour, so in 35 minutes, you go to Jason Goodman, Goodman, or Crowdsource the Truth, or Crowdsource the Truth numeral 2. So, Shanti, you're saying something about Spanish. I am no comprendo todo que hablas. Hablo muy poco español. Okay, I'm sorry, Shanti. I do appreciate that McSally has supported veteran causes, and yeah, I tell you, some of this stuff is we've got to stay as aware as we can. Larry mostly follows what's going on in DC, not what's going on internationally, not what's going on at state levels. His expertise is Congress and the White House, and a little bit about the Supreme Court, because he does have close friends there. Anyhow, we just appreciate so much the expertise he has for what he does know, and I appreciate that when he's really kind of out of his league, he lets us know. So and I'm sure, Shanti, I can only partially understand what you're saying, because a couple of your words I don't remember learning in Spanish. So I was good at grammar. I was terrible at vocabulary. So lo siento. That's it for today, folks. So Jason Goodman, Crowdsource the Truth, #2 on YouTube in 33 minutes for Larry with Jason. And we will not have a program tomorrow because I will be busy with my dad's memorial service and reception afterwards. Yes, Rana, Soros is investing in local political races. He is paying for the sheriffs and the prosecutors, so that if something happens, who are you going to call? Soros thinks they've got everything else at the upper levels wrapped up, and so he is now making sure that they have covered the whole ballot to cheat their way into the New World Order. So, all right, folks, that's it for today. My dad, let me tell you, we've got at least 13 grandchildren and great-grandchildren that we never met because of miscarriage. And, my sisters and I all have our grandkids in heaven. I've got 8 myself. So Dad is partying with these family members he never knew existed. When he did his little PowerPoint that he wanted us to use, that we are not able to use, we had to redo it. But his last slide was, "Hi, Mom, I'm home." So that's just my dad's sweet sense of humor. And so I'm giving the eulogy and the 5-minute talk on memories of my dad. So, and another thing, for those of you who were on the conference calls with us, guy named Dan, that we've been praying for his father, whose name was also Larry, dying of lung cancer. Please keep him in your prayers. His father died this morning. So I didn't want to hit Larry with that right now. He's struggling enough with his own issues. His next door neighbor was also Larry, who died of lung cancer a year and a half or 2 years ago. So he's had to deal with several people beating him into heaven, and he kind of sometimes wonders why he's been left. But we all know that, God's not done with him, because we need him desperately. So I thank God for what Larry's doing. So thank you for your prayers. It's been a bit tense around here. Mom's very, very quiet, so I'm a little concerned about her, but she's been kind and she's coping, and I think as long as I'm here, she'll be okay. But when I leave on the weekend, I don't know. I'll just have to stay in touch with her a lot after next week. So appreciate your prayers tomorrow. The service is at 11 Mountain Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. So anyhow, then we're coming here for lunch. So my youngest sister has a lot of health issues and is very, very, very worried about what germs are going to be passed around. So just pray for her to be protected and not to go into panic mode with people. My mom is not going to refuse hugs because she needs, her love language is touch. And so it's going to be very hard for her not to get what Dad used to do for her. So appreciate your prayers. Thank you. I'll see you in the chat on Jason's show in half an hour. God bless you all, and we will talk on Thursday. And again, if anybody can help Larry bank some money so he can buy his meds Thursday morning, that would be awesome. God bless you. Talk to you Thursday. Bye.